Hey everybody, it is I, Becca Lori Hector here with Growing Gratitude. Thanks you much for joining me, you guys. Growing Gratitude rather, is my attempt to very publicly, once a week, talk about the things that I'm grateful for in my life, whether or not I've had a shitty week. Who cares? There are still things that we can find to be grateful for. And the hope is that by doing that, I can kind of grow the gratitude in my life. And the hope beyond that is that if you guys join me, perhaps you too will be inspired to grow the gratitude in your life. So, welcome to Growing Gratitude. It is a Sunday morning, and you may or may not be able to tell, but my hair is wet because I took a shower this morning. And we're going to talk about that because that is not something that is normally on my radar for Sundays. Normally, you guys see me sort of straight ish out of bed or something. But today, my hair is wet and I'm showered, and there's a reason. Sorry about that. I sucked up my own saliva. Morning, Stevie. Morning, Bernard. So here's what happened to me today. And this is sort of a sideways into my gratitude because I don't know how good I'm going to be at gratitude today. So today is my day off. Antonio is at the food truck, so he leaves early and goes to the food truck. And then it is my hope, wish, I don't know, everything, every effort of mine goes into staying in bed for a little bit longer than I normally do, or, getting some extra sleep, things like that, because I don't get a lot of time to do that. And now that I'm back working for somebody else, I don't get a lot of time for naps and things like that. Morning, Bill. And so, I just, that's sort of been my thing, right? So I haven't had a lot of chance to keep gratitude notes. I have things like that. But in an effort to do self-care on my days off that I get, I'm trying to do myself the favor of not rushing out of bed and all of those things, and to sleep a little extra, because I'm not a morning person. Well, this morning, the dogs conspired against me. I swear to God, you guys, this morning, Antonio left, and about 15 minutes later, and for the next hour and a half, the dogs would not stop barking. They just wouldn't. They were, I don't know what was, there was really nothing going on outside because I eventually looked, but it was like if a squirrel went by or they thought they heard something or anything this morning, where they usually will sleep till I go, Antonio feeds them, and usually they'll sleep in for the next hour until I get up and come up there, right? Not today. Not today. Today, I had to yell from downstairs a bazillion thousand times, quiet, no barking, blah, 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 right? And every time they'd shut up, I'd start to relax and fall back to sleep, and then they'd start all over again. Needless to say, I'm a little bit cranky today. I'm a little bit short-tempered, and I'm a little annoyed that that's how my day started, because you know how much I like to do my morning routines and my night routines and all of that stuff, and this really threw me off. So I went upstairs and I started to make breakfast, and they would not stop. So I put them outside, and they would not stop outside. Needless to say, I've had myself already a mini meltdown today over this noise that won't stop, and they won't listen. And I was extremely frustrated, and hadn't had my meds, hadn't gotten on board yet. I hadn't eaten yet. I barely had any water to drink. I mean, I peed, and that was like the extent of it. And then it was like full rage. So had myself a little mini meltdown this morning, and sent them outside for a little bit because I needed my space. And then called them back in and decided to go downstairs and take a shower, because oftentimes when I'm having meltdowns or I'm having overload or something like that, what I do is I take like a sensory deprivation shower, which is kind of basically the way I shower every day. But I want to be clear, because what I do is I make sure that I shower in the dark. I don't take a hot or cold shower. I take a really like middle of the road shower, right? And I try to either put something on the speaker, like a podcast or something that tells me a story, or music that I feel like will lift and shift my mood, something like that. And it's the only way I feel like when I'm having a meltdown these days, I can decompress and then recompress, is by taking a shower. Because even though it exhausts me, and even though it's something that I try to use as a way to calculate my spoons, how often I shower. There are some days when that's really the only thing that sort of recalibrates my whole body and brain. And that's where I'm coming from that decompression shower to you guys. So I'm a little bit on edge still, and I'm a little cranky, and it's really, really hard right now in this moment for my brain to access all the stuff I've been thinking about all week that I want to share with you guys in terms of gratitudes. So what I decided instead was, instead of kind of just either posting, you guys, I've had a morning, I can't really do gratitude today, or any of those things, I decided that there was a lesson in here somewhere for me, I'm sure, and maybe something for you guys to glean from. And so what I wanted to say, instead of listing all of my gratitudes, which is something that I would usually do on Sunday, is I want to say that I am grateful for this space. I don't know how else to quite say it, because when I say this space, what I want to say is I've created a zone for me to talk about these things that are difficult to talk about, that are uncomfortable as autistic adults, that we don't talk about. And we also don't talk about how to function through them or after them or with them or any of those things. We just don't. So part of the reason I do all this vulnerable sharing is because I think we need to talk about it. And I think we need to understand that we're all not alone in this battle, that, I'm not the only one that has mini meltdowns when they're not expecting them, and I'm not the only one that has, and I call it a mini meltdown because it was very short and I felt it coming, and it was slow building, and it wasn't like the ones that come at you out of nowhere and that are just huge and it feels like your mouth and face opens and just shit flies out at everyone near you. It wasn't that big because I was here alone. And so it was like this limited, but over a long period of time, irritation that wouldn't go away. And it just took me because it was the morning, right? And I had no other supports on board yet. And so I wanted to share with you guys that this is what I do for myself, that I'm an adult with autism. I work really hard at self-care. I've done a lot of things to change my life and fix my life and make myself a better person. And yet I still have meltdowns. I'm autistic. I'm going to be autistic for the rest of my life. I will always, always, always be susceptible to meltdowns. It's just fact. It's just the way it is. It's like the depression and having to admit to yourself that no matter how much you care for yourself and how much medication you are on, there are still days that the depression will eke through. And so we need to remember that. And we need better solves, better ways to get up well from them, better ways to be resilient about them, and better ways to sort of reroute that negative self-talk that happens post a meltdown. Right? Like, why can't I control myself? And why do I still do these things? And how come stuff makes me this upset? And, why do I get to the point where I feel like a screaming toddler? Right? Why? And you get frustrated with yourself and you blame yourself for that stuff, but we can't help it, right? Our brains reach a certain point of overwhelm and the emotions have to go somewhere. And so luckily today, I didn't really take it out on the dogs too much, and I didn't really, don't really have anybody else around me that sort of was victim to my meltdown today, except for me. And I'm tired now. I want to cry now because we all do, I think, after meltdowns. And I really want to try to salvage my day. Like, I don't want to have this stupid morning just dunk my whole day off. I just don't. So that was the shower attempt. And as you know, it will take me still longer, I'm sure, to process through it and to feel back to myself and to have sort of really decompressed and recompressed and all of that stuff. But I just wanted to share that with you guys today because I don't want you to feel alone. I don't want you to feel like I sit here and I tell you all of these things to do and I live this perfectly even, balanced, perfect autistic life, because I don't. My autism is still here. The challenges are still here. The bad days still come. But what I want for all of us is to get up better. I want for all of us to not have meltdowns take down our entire self-esteem or steal our days. There has to be a better way. Okay. Anyway, so today's gratitude is for this space to share this stuff with you, this space knowing that you guys will show up and I won't be talking to nobody. And then I guess I still have evolution to do and gratitudes to have and lessons to learn and all of those things. But I think learning to understand that this is just the way that our brains do it. And not just because we don't see other people process this stuff normally in public like this, right? That we think we're alone. You're not alone. You're not. I'm not. So that's what gratitude is about today. My real big gratitude for today is having this space to share that with you guys. And knowing that when I come back on Wednesday to do Being Back Alive, and I'm well past feeling like this, that we'll have other things to talk about. And I'm sure that once I'm calm, I'll be able to write down my gratitudes and really think about them. And maybe I'll post them in group just so I feel like accountable. That's the word. So I feel accountable to my gratitudes for this week. So in any case, I'm going to keep gratitude really short because I'm really out of spoons, you guys, and I'm so sorry. But I'm going to come back to you in group. So keep an eye on group. I will try to I'll try to kind of gather my thoughts at some point today and throw my list of gratitudes into group, and we can all kind of talk about them there and stuff like that. But it would have been really easy for me to say I can't do gratitude today, to not even post and tell you that I couldn't. But I needed you to know. I needed you to know that I'm not perfect, and I needed you to know that I don't talk from my ass, that I don't talk shit. The stuff that I do for myself, because 95% of the time it works and 5% I don't get to have control. And that's us. And that's who we are. So don't feel alone. Know that I am not like a toxically positive person all the time, that I have my challenges, but I know what works to get me up. And I know what works to get me through. And I know that this will pass. And I know that by this afternoon, I'll be feeling much better. And I'm sure that, I'll have another one some other day and all of that stuff. And I have plenty of things that I want to share with you and talk to you about. But this is what No Spoons looks like. This is what post meltdown looks like. Yeah. And I just wanted to share that part with you. So, you guys, I'm going to deal with my gratitudes later. I will look to share them in group. I am going to take the rest of my Sunday and do what I tell you guys to do when you're feeling real down, which is just keep yourself moving and do the basics. So I'm going to go do some laundry. I'm going to go wash the dishes. I'm going to go do the things that I need to do to sort of remind myself who I am 95% of the time. And then I'll get back to you guys in group. But of course, I'll be back on Wednesday with the next Being Back Alive. And don't know that topic yet. Maybe it'll be this. Who knows? But I will be back on Wednesday with that. And of course, I'll be back next Sunday for the next Growing Gratitude. You guys can always reach me at beccalaurie.com. You can email me through the contact page or directly at info@beccalaurie.com, which is LORY.com. All this stuff is in the description. I just don't have the spoons to go through with all of it today. I hope you guys enjoyed the newsletter that you got, because I finally got it out. And I think I may be skipping Asking Spectrum Women this month because I just don't have the spoons. But I'll keep your questions until August. That's it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for just showing up and being here and making sure that we have this continuous space. I am beyond grateful for it today. So my gratitude goes to you guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Do what you can to seek joy, create joy, share joy, and do all the joys. And of course, take some time if you have the moments to sit down and think about the things that you're grateful for from this week. Because no matter how shitty your week is, there are definitely things that kept you going this week that you have to be grateful for. I will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Bye.